welcome back to Giggle and Grow here. We are so excited to have you guys here listening today. We have a really special guest, Sofia, here with us. She's going to come on and talk a little bit about her wellness entrepreneurship and her journey and what that's all looked like here. So we're super excited to have her share her accomplishments, all the challenges, all the little things. So Sofia, if you want to introduce yourself and just share a little bit about your story and what got you into that space.
Yeah, so hi, my name is Sofia. I recently moved to Denver, Colorado. I am 25 years old, and I recently got into this whole space about a year ago or two. So it's kind of newish. And it kind of accidentally happened just by me not knowing, being so lost like in life and not knowing like where to do like what to do and like where to go from like college, finishing college. Like I was so lost. So that's kind of how I got into it.
No, I felt the exact same way when I got out of college. I of course went for psychology and I had all intentions to go get my master's in psychology and wanted to help people that way. And then of course it was COVID. It was just kind of weird. I didn't want to really get back into school quite yet and wanted to see what possibilities were there. I more so decided to get into the corporate world, which was so unlike me. I was like, beforehand, I was like, I am not doing that. There's no way in heck. But I went for it. I really enjoyed it for a couple years, but then I still felt like something was missing for me. And that's what ended up kind of leading me into my own entrepreneur journey. So that being said, I mean, what really led you to take that leap? I mean, just kind of that confusion and not having an idea of what you really wanted to do.
I was in college, last year of college, and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm going to graduate and I have no idea. I don't have a job. I haven't had any experience, work experience. So I was just so lost in my journey and I started journaling again. The first time I started was I was a kid, 7 years old, and then I left it during high school and college. And so I restarted that journey, that introspection, reflection journey. And it really opened my eyes to like, wait, like I can create my own journal and then I can make a living off of this. So I researched the market and I was like, wow, like there's people that are really successful in this kind of niche. So I decided to create my own because I was buying like journal after journal and I was like, wait, why am I buying it if I can create it? So that was like kind of the shift of like the entrepreneur mindset of like, well, you can do it. like
Yeah.
so yeah, that's it kind of like I kind of became an accidental entrepreneur and then just kind of went from there.
I love that. Well, I mean, it sounds like when you started journaling, that was your key moment of saying, I'm going to be an entrepreneur, right? When you bought that journal and you said to yourself, yeah, why am I buying this? I don't need to do this anymore. I can create it myself. And I love how you said that you just kind of fell into being an entrepreneur. Do you feel like developing your journal over time, it's made you realize who you are as a person? Or do you feel like you already knew that you were an entrepreneur before you started developing this journal?
So the last city I moved to for college was Monterrey, Mexico, and they're really into business, making money. They're all entrepreneurs. So I kind of had that spark. Oh, what if I was an entrepreneur? And what if I started my own thing? But I had no idea what. And then as I started getting into journaling because I was so lost, feeling not myself, that's when it all happened. Like I got that spark of, oh my gosh, I can do this.
I was really curious about just if you knew that you wanted to be an entrepreneur or if you kind of, like you said, you fell into it. But it sounds like you always knew deep down inside that this was something you wanted to do. And now you're doing it, which is great.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy, but yeah.
Love it for you.
You said there was a lot of people around you that influenced you in that. Is there a particular story or person that really just inspired you to get into that?
I'd say the university I was going to, I met a lot of friends the last year that were all in the entrepreneur journey. And so just hearing them talk about the whole process of how to be in business and startups and scaling and all that. It got me so excited and I was like, I want to be like them. They were so inspiring to me and that's why I decided to just go all in.
Have you ever felt imposter syndrome? I mean, being able to see, or more so being around all these successful people, of course, it inspired you to take that leap, but knowing that they're already successful, right? And you're kind of taking your own journey in this. Do you feel that imposter syndrome ever?
That's actually so funny because I was like, I have no idea like why people talk about imposter syndrome. Like it's so stupid. Like I think I wouldn't get that because like you're already doing the work and like why would you feel that you're not worth like being there? But I did actually like for like a few months in the middle when I was trying to like start the business and then when I was like trying to scale it. During that part, I was like, "Oh my gosh, like I'm meeting all these like investors and business guys and women and stuff." So, they were all like already making like millions and I was like, "Oh my gosh, like where like what am I doing here? Like I don't understand like how I got here." And so yeah, I definitely felt it.
We do talk a lot here on this podcast just about how we just mainly focusing on selves and not trying to compare ourselves to everyone around us. I've said it here before, but especially in entrepreneurship and business, I think it's so important to realize that you are building this for you. You're building this for your own followers, your own community. And when you start to put yourself in other people's communities, you're doing it for the wrong reason. And so I think when you, again, can rely on your own dreams, yourself, the people that are supporting you, that can really flourish everything else around you and help kind of bring you back from feeling those feelings and comparing that self. Because again, we don't see that success 2, 3, 4 years ago. We see what's happening now, and that's where we can kind of get lost in that imposter syndrome feeling. So
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
for rugby, I think I remember watching a TikTok or a video of one of the rugby girls being asked if she has it. And she was like, absolutely not. I work really hard. I post TikToks every single day. I put the effort in. And that's where we want to be, right? That's the goal. You want to get to this place where you're like, no, I deserve everything because I worked my ass off for it. And that's how I feel about kind of my sales job in some ways. And that's how I'm starting to feel more about our podcast and all of these dreams that I actually have. And so one of the questions I have leading into this is you're on Amazon. I know we have a lot of listeners here who might want to create their own book, might want to do their own thing and put things on Amazon. You don't have to tell us the exact process, but how hard was that?
Yeah, that's kind of a funny story because I was thinking about it for the longest time. Oh, I want to be an Amazon, and only the successful people get into Amazon and stuff. But that's fake, not true, guys. Anyone can be an Amazon, and you don't have to be this hot shot or whatever. But actually, a friend showed me how to do the whole process in the Kindle Direct Publishing on Amazon because it was so overwhelming to me. Like, I had no idea where to start or how to get into that. So he kind of helped.
You're talking about leaning on this mentor that you found, and it sounds like this mentor or friend of yours was a really big piece to your success. And I think sometimes when we're working towards our business, we want to think, oh, I should be able to figure this out on my own. And I think I even believe that sometimes in my job. I should be able to do this on my own. This is my job, right? I should be able to figure it out. And what I've learned through time is relying on other people and being able to sit down and get some direction and just a different perspective or a little bit of what I like to call hand holding. It's okay. And it's actually necessary for success. And once you learn that easy little step, now you can do more and more, right? You can take that simple step that he taught you and you can continue to grow, continue to add more to Amazon, continue to use it. And I think that that's really hard for people. It's really hard for people to take a step back and say, oh, I need help, right? Or ask for help or find a mentor or sometimes we have to pay for that mentorship, right? And sometimes we need help. And I think that that's okay. And that's what it sounds like you're talking about and you're saying to the audience.
Yeah, especially in the beginning for solopreneurs, we want to do everything ourselves because it's easier and it's cost effective too. Because starting out, you need as much money as possible to reinvest in the business. So, yeah, I think that when you start to scale the business and grow even more, you want to get people on your team to help you do that.
Yeah, makes sense.
I totally agree with that. Sometimes it's a trial and error to find that too. You talked about investments and where we kind of as entrepreneurs want to put those investments. Do you have a story to share with the followers of a moment of your worst investment?
A funny story. It was around Christmas time. It was my first Christmas with the business. And I heard so many people talk about if you're in the e-commerce business, getting influencers is really good. So I went out, did my research, and I paid two influencers to promote the journals and affirmation cards. And so they did the 3 stories, I don't know, that they post and then like a reel or something like that, whatever you wanted it to be. And then so the stories came out, the reel came out, and that day I remember having a lot of followers, just random followers, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, it's live." That's crazy. And then there was either no sales from one influencer, which was like kind of a micro influencer, so I kind of get it, but like I would expect a little more. And then the one I paid like a lot more money for got me sales online, but it was nothing. The ROI was just insane. I didn't get what I was expecting to get in return for that huge investment. So 15 sales was not even a quarter of it. Yeah.
That's
Mhm.
wild. See the perspective and just the things you don't often hear behind the scenes in this world and the entrepreneurship and the investments you do put in and what you don't always get out of it. I heard when starting the clothing business, I heard you have to put a lot of just investing in free clothing and just get being more so being willing to give that out in order to see that return. And it's been more of a learning curve for me. I have a bunch of wonderful friends that have been willing to promote my sweatshirts, like Courtney, and of course you have been a part of our photo shoots, and just those people that are willing to share their authenticity. But I haven't gotten so much into the pain aspect of seeing those results coming back. I've more so gone about the fact of people have their own discount code if they get the sales and they get some earnings with that. And I've more so seen a lot of fun with it, but I'm still learning so much. There's so much to learn and trial and errors and things that haven't worked and have really worked. So it's just interesting to hear what you've gone through and then just, the opposite side of things.
Obviously, a lot more things have happened, but that's just one.
That being said, you mentioned about a lot of these times that happened to you. You're like, I can't believe this is happening, or this wow factor. So I'm kind of curious how, if you have a moment in your head that was pretty rewarding for you when you came out with this journal personally, and then in your business career as well.
Oh my gosh. So I remember this, my first online sale. I remember I was asleep and I woke up and I saw on Shopify, oh my gosh, I got like 3 sales. And then I was like, that's insane. I can make money while I'm sleeping. This is a huge milestone for me in business, overall life and work, because I've always wanted to be a freelancer. And I was like, whoa, like I created my dream life without even planning it as much.
Yeah. And so with that being said, so where are you at now? Like you said, you had 3 sales, you mentioned 15 sales. Are you receiving sales every day? Are you at that point where you feel like you can say, oh, now I can say I'm successful? Or you feel like you might never be at that point?
No, I feel like it's all patience. But right now, since it's just me, so I do part time. And then because I'm doing a master's right now as well. So I have more sales in retail stores more than online, because online it takes a little more time for people to trust you and see how you can help them. And yeah, just kind of build that brand awareness online takes a little more time.
Have you ever thought about doing something like TikTok shop?
Yes, I have actually. But in Mexico, so since I'm originally from Mexico, I need to have like the social security number thing, so I can't really do it if I'm not from here because it doesn't like they don't have it over there, I guess.
I see.
Yeah. So I would have to ask someone or something. I don't
Yeah,
know how that works. But
yeah,
yes, I have thought of it.
it's kind of tough now with it being not downloadable. I don't know if that's still the case, but I think
Yeah, I don't
A new
know.
phone. I don't know about you or if anyone experienced this, but I got a new phone after the fact, like after disappeared and came back to life, and
Oh,
I
yeah.
can't download it on my phone anymore. It won't let me do that or CapCut. I of course have it
Mhm.
downloaded on my iPad, but it's just not the same. I don't think to go on my iPad to be like, oh, let's go post a video or let's go see what everyone else is posting. So it's kind of unfortunate there, but
Morgan, you should share a
but
little bit to the audience of how, because she was talking about how she gets, it sounds like retail is really where you're going to make your money. And it sounds like you got yours on Amazon. You also have yours in retail. And Morgan, I know you do a lot of wholesale as well. Would you be open to sharing a little bit about your wholesale experience too?
with my wholesale experience, I had a really lucky experience with that. I, of course, have been working full time, part time at Cafe 13 in Golden, Colorado. If you have seen my Instagram, you have seen that they have collabed with me in my sweatshirts. And when I started working there, I went up to my boss and I just kind of had a few questions to ask her to see if they ever have worked with wholesale, how that all kind of worked. And I know they did it with some honey company. They have had some jellies and all these little things, but they're like, we've never done sweatshirts. And I was like, okay, well, let's talk more. Long story short, it's not as complicated as it sounds. We just have sat down and, discussed sizings, what has sold best, what colors have sold best. We've even created some limited editions. And we have now sold over 300 crews at Cafe 13 because of that, which is super cool. But during that learning moment, of course, we have now expanded out into Iowa as well. And it was the same exact thing. More so, I allowed them to look at my listings, decide what really works, what they like the most. And then we just went about talking sizes and colors and things like that too. So, Sophia, I mean, for me, with that long story short explanation, you do journals. How do you do kind of your wholesale thing? Is it kind of the same way where you just kind of decide quantities? And I guess more so, yeah, what does that look like?
So yeah, I just kind of find like the right stores that are like the right fit for me and also for them. So like basically wellness spaces. So yoga studios, spas, hotels, like luxury hotels, and then like places where they prioritize like self-development and just overall wellness. So I basically just go into the store or get an email and just send out emails to see how I can get like these products that align so well with their business. And then we just kind of discuss like wholesale deals or consignment deals or whatever works best for like each business and each brand.
That's
That
awesome. That's super helpful. If you'd ever be open to sharing your template, I'm sure our audience would love to just see what you send to them and what that looks like, just that process.
Me too. I'm always learning.
Yeah, no, for sure. I'll send it over.
And so you just took the chance. You just went in and you
Yeah.
said, hey, I want you to have my journals. And that's what I think sales is all about, right? And I think
Yeah.
a lot of the times people in entrepreneurship, you have to put yourself out there. You have to be willing to go into a place and say, this is the entire atmosphere where I could see my dream coming true, right? And I think for me, I'm in sales, so I'm not afraid to be very upfront. And I try to push Morgan a lot. I'm like, go into the Breckenridge store and just talk to, even my mother-in-law was like, I can talk to them for you if you want me to. So I think it's all about putting yourself, like, finding somewhere where you can see your product being sold in that environment, and then pushing outside your comfort zone and saying, I'm going to go and I'm going to ask, I'm going to email, I'm going to follow up, I'm going to be my salesperson. You can't be an entrepreneur without being a little bit of a saleswoman as well.
Yeah, you kind of have to be delusional like all aspects and then like also confidence like is so important in business because if you have like unshakable confidence, nothing stops you. Like you're not afraid to fail because you know that it leads to success and you like know that like whatever is going to happen like you're going to be okay because there's always more deals and there's always more things you can like um close like
So
in
did you
business.
always have your confidence, or do you think you built it up?
I think I had confidence, but like I didn't know how much confidence you needed in business until I started this whole thing. But yeah, I think I kind of I kind of said, like, if I don't do this, then I will never, like, get to where I want to be in life.
Okay. Well, wrapping a few things up, we have a few closing questions for you. Just for anyone listening and thinking about starting their own business, what advice would you give them to start their own journey?
Okay, if I could start again, I would find first a mentor that is doing what you want to be doing, and then have him guide you through it, because it would make things so much easier instead of just going in the deep end and like figuring everything out by yourself and taking so much time to open up the shop and, like, get into the whole entrepreneur journey.
Yeah, that
I
makes sense.
love that. I was actually talking to an entrepreneur that I met through my cafe, and he was saying the exact same thing as you just did. He said, just it's all about who you know. Do not be afraid to go into that boutique and get to know that owner and learn from how they, grew their business and the mistakes that they made, because a lot of times someone has walked through that already, and they are probably more than willing to share all the tips and tricks that they walked through as well. So,
Exactly, because someone helped them do it, you know? It's like give and give back.
yeah. I can only imagine when I'm 50 years old. Hopefully, I'm still doing most miles in some way, shape, or form. It's turned into something bigger than me. And I can only imagine I'll be helping someone, my age now or our age now, and helping them become successful too. So I
Yeah.
love that.
Yeah, well, that's the whole point.
Yeah. Aw.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Sophia. We really appreciate you taking the time to talk with us on the podcast. I hope you got to share everything.
Yeah, no, thank you for inviting me.
One last thing, Sophia, I do want you to share with our followers just your Instagram handle, everywhere that they can follow you, and even your shop if you would like to share that.
Oh yeah. So you can find me on Instagram, which I post daily, inspiring and motivating mindset, manifestation, and all things wellness. So it's Seres de Luz. So SERESDELUZ.369. And then on Shopify, it's the website. It's the same. It's www.seresdeluz, but with a double Z, and then .com.
And we will have it
Yeah.
in the comments in the description below. So make sure you check out, you subscribe, and comment. And thank you guys so much.
Thank
Bye.
you.
See you soon.